Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm Cassie Villela and I'm a realtor, property manager, and investor here in the San Antonio, Texas market. So I'm on here today to give the 1st of September market update. So normally this is going to be a little bit different. So if you look at my channel, I've got a market update every other week for a year and a half now. This is going to be a little bit different because normally I prepare those for an investor meetup. This one is kind of a one-off because I just happened to pull up the August data yesterday and was pretty surprised and thought, you know what, I'm not going to wait a couple of weeks to let people know about this. I'm going to share this information now. So I don't have like the typical, normally I have a PowerPoint and curated stuff. I don't have that. I'm just getting on here to let you guys know what's happening. I'm going to kind of do a Loom thing where I'm showing you the data I'm looking at as I'm looking at it. So hopefully it'll work out. But if you saw my short yesterday, then you know that some pretty big things are happening. And I think it's important that you know that so that if you're making decisions, whether you're an investor or a home seller, home buyer in the San Antonio market, you need this information to make effective offers, to get effective deals. So all that being said, let's get started. You're looking at the median sales price. Now, all of this data is coming from the Showing Time website, which is something that realtors have access to. It kind of automatically compiles data from the MLS. So this data is going to be from across the entire San Antonio market area. And it's going to be, all different types of housing. So this is kind of just a big picture of the San Antonio market. So you can see here that the median sales price is still increasing. It increased slightly less in August than it did in the previous several months. Like we kind of had this up and up and up, and now it's just kind of like that, which is fine. Like it's still really, really high for San Antonio. It's still crazy high year over year. But what I'm really interested in here, what is making me feel like this is important to get out there, this is something that, might be rapidly changing, is the total homes for sale on the market. Now, if you look at this chart, you can see that the homes for sale, so all of the available properties in San Antonio, has been falling over the past year for the most part. And then here in the last couple of months has sharply gone back up. Now, the reason the total homes for sale was falling was not because we had fewer sellers putting their home on the market necessarily, but because homes were getting bought so quickly, that turnover was so fast, that total homes for sale in the market figure has been going down and down and down. And so over the last couple of months, it's gone up. I'm going to go ahead and split this out into the different price ranges. So that orange line is kind of anything over 325. The blue line is kind of in that 225 to 325 range. And then the green line is kind of the 160 to 224. So the bottom two lines are kind of your starter home. The teal line is kind of your next level up. And then the orange line is like everything and all the way up to luxury. You can see there that all of those, with the exception of the lowest price point line, all of those have increased in both July and August, the total amount of homes for sale. Now that in and of itself would not bother me all that much, except that when I couple it with the amount of pending and closed sales, this is where I start to get worried. Pending sales are down across the board. They were down slightly in July and then a lot more in August. So we have fewer homes that are in the middle of being closed on, fewer transactions going. You can see that is across the board in every price point. It's not, kind of in one price, every single price point, even the lowest price point decreased in August. Same thing with closed sales. So you can see that the closed sales started to decline slightly in July. And if you remember from that market update, I was like, this is kind of worrisome, but we really need to wait till we have more data. 1 month of decline is really not enough to like start alarm bells. But now we have 2 months worth. We have July and August. So back on to our closing sales. So yeah, I was talking about how, we weren't ready to sound the alarm bells in July, but now that we've got 2 months of data and it seems pretty consistent across all price points, it is something to worry about. Now, all of these 3 stats combined shows that we've got less homes in the process of being bought or being closed on, and we have more homes on the market. So supply has increased and demand has decreased. Now, if we look at these numbers month over month, then that's something to worry about. But if we looked year over year, these numbers are still fantastic. If we look at month supply, we still have only, we only have across all price ranges 1.8 months supply. So that's still fantastic. That is still a seller's market. You can see on this graph over the last year, yes, it's increased over the last couple of months, but compared to a year ago, it's still really, really low. The days on market are still really low, although they did increase just a bit here this month. So you can see that they've been on a decline. Let me combine all of them. So you can kind of see how that line has been going down and down and down. And then we reached 18 days on market in June and July. And then now here in August, we're back up to 19 days on market. So I mean, nobody's going to complain about 19 days on market, right? That's still phenomenal. But it increased since last month. So that is something to keep in mind. Percent of list price is something else that really drastically declined over the last month. So I'm going to combine them all just to kind of see an overall picture. So yeah, that looks kind of dramatic, right? We've got, it's going up and up and up, and then sharp decline just in 1 month by a whole percentage point. I did go back, and over the past 3 years of data, this is the sharpest decline in percent of list price in the last 3 years. This software only allows me to go back 3 years, so that's all I can look at. But so that's a pretty steep decline in this month. I'm going to again parse them out into the different price ranges. You can see that it seems like most of the change, well, I guess it's across the board. The one price point that seems to be staying pretty strong is, well, no, that came down by 0.7. So yeah, all of them across the board declined pretty sharply in August. Again, we're talking about declining from 101% of list price to 100% of list price. So, I mean, most of us are happy about 100% list price at any point. I'm just kind of showing it's something to look at, something to look out for. Let's look at new listings. New listings have kind of slightly declined in August. And I think that's pretty normal. We have the summer months, everybody's listing. And then starting August, September, October, we have fewer listings. So, hopefully that'll balance out. That will kind of keep that total homes on the market a little bit lower moving forward now that there aren't as many new listings hitting the market. But, basically, I am not saying that the market's crashing by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that we need to panic. What I see happening and my gut feeling over the last month has been that the market is starting to slow down a bit. And the reason has been that my last listing and my last couple of buyers, it does seem like instead of getting, 20 offers the first weekend, now it's taking a little bit longer. It's taking a few days, So I have sellers that, a couple months ago where sellers were like, okay, in the first day, I'm going to have all these offers to compare, where now sellers are like, okay, it's been 3 days and I only have one offer. Oh no. I mean, in normal circumstances, that would still be fantastic, but it's just kind of changed from just this unbelievably wild market to a little bit more tame. I suspect that part of the reason is also that sellers, because the market has been so hot, sellers are pricing higher and higher and higher. And I think that we have reached a point where like buyers are saying, we're not going to pay that much. So I think the market has spoken. I feel like we're probably plateauing on prices. I could be completely wrong. We could look at data next month and it's still going up. But just anecdotally and kind of being in the market, it does feel like prices are probably going to start plateauing. I don't think they're going to go down again. I just think that they're going to plateau, probably going to be seeing a little bit higher days on market, probably not as many offers per listing. Where does this put you if you're an investor or just a home buyer in San Antonio? I think that we should probably realize where sellers' mindsets are. So sellers are probably a little concerned because it's not as hot as it was a few months ago. You probably have some agents who are promising that, oh, we're going to get 20 offers the first weekend. And then when that's not happening, you may have some sellers getting concerned. So if you are a buyer and you see a property that's sitting on the market for a minute, that might be an opportunity for you to go in and get it at a little bit lower price, or maybe just be able to negotiate a little bit more than you have been able to in the last few months. If you are a seller, what this means is I would strongly advise that you price your property carefully. I would price it for a reasonable list price, because I do see buyers starting to say like, no, I'm not going to pay $400,000 for that. Like, I'm just not going to do that because the prices have gone up so drastically. So I would coach sellers to price it maybe a little bit lower and have more buyers to choose from than seeing the wild June and July that we had and saying, oh, I'm going to price way up here. I think that's might be what's happening. I think that might be why these numbers look the way they do. I don't know, but I'm going to dive into more data. I'm going to have another market update when I have my investor meetup, which is now, I used to do 2 a month. That's why I have 2 market updates most months. But we switched to once a month. So now it's going to be the 3rd Tuesday of every month is going to be the investor meetup where you can come. It's still going to be on Zoom. We're not meeting in person, mostly because a lot of my clients are out of state. So meeting in person wouldn't really work for them. So I'm going to continue to do it on Zoom. And we're going to have that once a month. So this month, I will certainly have a lot more data for that, because this is definitely something I think a lot of people are going to be concerned about. They're going to be, suspicious about. I want to find more data, find out why the pending sales and closed sales are down, try to figure some of that out. I did want to get on here and just let you know that was happening because it is big news. I feel like for the past 18 months, I come on here every 2 weeks and like, well, it's hotter than it was last month. I don't know how I can believe this, but this is the first time that I'm here saying, oh, it's a little bit slower. So I think that's something to keep in mind, something to investigate a little bit more. Please leave comments. Tell me about your experience, anecdotal. I am really interested to see what other people think, what other investors think, what other realtors think, what lenders think. Let's get some information here so we can make some really informed decisions as buyers, sellers, investors, whatever. So that's been my kind of crazy last minute kind of off the cuff market update. I hope that was helpful. I hope that information helps you make better decisions about your real estate, buying, selling, investing. On this channel, I do this a couple times a month. I also do regular home and garden stuff. I'm a homesteader, so I do homesteading videos. If all of that sounds like something that's interesting to you, then please subscribe. It really means a lot to me, and it'll let you know when those new videos come out. I try to publish every Wednesday and Friday, and then follow me on Instagram and TikTok and all the places, mostly Instagram and TikTok. And I'm releasing like more short videos on those, trying to condense like stuff like this down into 1 minute, which is really hard for me to do. But I'm doing it. And yeah, anyway, sorry, subscribe, like, share, whatever. And I'll see you next time.